When you were sitting on the track after the race was over, what was going to go on through your head? What were you thinking?
I was just trying to process the lactic acid. And I was just taking a moment to really just enjoy what had just taken place. You know, so many times the race goes by and you forget what happens. I really just wanted to sit there for a moment and soak it all in before getting into the craziness of what follows that. So.
Hi, question for Dalila and for Femke. I was wondering, did you ever think that a time like 50.68 would be possible in this event?
You know, I definitely thought 50 was possible. After that race, I think 49 is possible.
Yeah, I think the same pretty much. It's just amazing to run 50. I mean, 1 year ago, 51 was for the first time, so it's great to see this event going so fast.
Sydney, this is probably a stupid question to ask, but how close was that to the perfect race? And is there any area that could possibly be faster in the future?
I didn't get to watch it, so I'll have to go back and do that and talk to my coach. But I think there's always more to improve upon. I think we're pushing the bounds as a sport, especially in our event, of what's possible in this race. So I definitely think there's always more that can be shaven off for sure.
Sydney, I have heard that Edo Bolden during his commenting at the trials said that your coach has mentioned if you win this title, you would consider to go for the 400-meter title, 400 flat. Is that true?
Bobby and I have talked about possibly looking at other events, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I think we're going to just figure out this season, end it out strong with a couple more meets, and then figure out what we want to do from there, if we want to switch events or stay with the 4 hurdles.
But, I mean, would that be a desirable record, given the fact that it stands since 1985, I think, and clearly was from the time where I'm from Germany, the record holder is from Germany. We called her running a pharmacy, so.
I think anything's possible. I think, you know, if we decide to go for that, it would take a different type of training than the 400 hurdles, but, you know, I leave that in the hands of my coach.
Sydney, how aware were you of the crowd on the home straight, or were you aware of it?
I was aware of the crowd. I was more aware of the lactic acid in my legs, but the crowd was definitely helping me. The louder they get, the faster you want to run, so it was definitely great having them there.
Sydney, other than the lactic acid, is it possible to explain what a performance like that feels like? And are you in sort of a state of flow, or how does it feel as you go through it?
I would definitely say it's a flow state, just putting everything that you've done in practice into the race to the point where you're just letting your body do what it does, you know, and you're not overthinking it, you're just releasing the gifts and talents that God's given you. And I think those are the best races that I've ever run, are the ones where I'm just free, releasing the gift that I've been given.
Sydney, you broke the world record of the U.S. trials in this event as well, but you took a lot off of that world record tonight. What was the difference between tonight and the U.S. trials that allowed you to improve so much?
I think just knowing that this was a big stage race, knowing that the crowd was full and I have really great women that I'm racing against. Not to say that I didn't have it there, but I just knew that the pressure was definitely going to be there tonight. And that was a great indicator, just me figuring out my stride pattern at U.S. trials, and then now just putting it all into play on the biggest stage possible. So.
Sydney, I know that you have many lucky rituals before the start, and what you did today to destroy your own record. Like, do you take your minions blanket with you, or what you take with you to destroy your record?
I definitely have my minions blanket for sure. I think the biggest thing for me was just having friends and family here. You know, after Tokyo last year, having nobody, this was really huge to have a meet in the U.S. where my whole family could be there, and it just made it a lot more enjoyable for me, for sure.
Hi, Sydney. You're 22 years old. You've broken the world record 4 times, 2-time Olympic gold medalist. What else is possible for you in this sport?
My coach thinks, there's a lot more to be done. If we want to try a different event, at some point, we could do maybe the 4, maybe the 100 hurdles. So I think, just really enjoying the 400 hurdles while we're doing it. And then, if we want to expand, do something else, go from there and see. So sky's the limit for sure.
Sydney, you've had a lot of attention on you since you were early in your teenage years, and you've delivered on all of that potential and more. I'm wondering, how have you been able to do that? There's a lot of teen phenoms who flame out, who can't handle the attention and pressure. What's allowed you to succeed?
Number one, I would say, is my faith, and just understanding that it's not about me. I've been given a gift and a platform, but it's not for my own glory, and I think that's helped me stay out of a lot of things that could get me into trouble. Number two, I would say, is my support system. I have great people around me, just making sure that I'm staying on the right path of what I know is tried and true. And 3 is just my self-control of just understanding that there's a big platform where people from all over the world can access you. And I limit my social media, I limit how much I'm on those things, because ultimately they cannot help me when I get on that line.
Before we take additional questions, I do want to ask if we have any questions for Femke or Delilah. I know we're so excited about a world record and want to make sure we get everyone's questions. Yeah.
Yeah, Delilah, it's your 4th medal in the event, equally the most ever. Can I just get your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to come home with the medal, especially on home soil. I was kind of nervous, honestly, going into this meet, just not knowing where my fitness level would be, and so to get a medal just feels really just like kind of icing on the cake. It just kind of shows, I guess, my resilience as an athlete, so definitely proud of that 3rd medal today.
Question also for Delilah. So I know you ran with Gianna Woodruff in the final, and you have a lot of other athletes in your group at the World Championships. Just talk to me about the support that you have from your group and your coach as well.
Yeah, we definitely have a great support system. My training partner, Gianna Woodruff, is in that final with me, so just being able to warm up with her definitely just felt like home. The Johnson brothers, both my coach and his brother, Chris Johnson, had half of the field in that final, so it's just kind of nice to kind of just warm up with those ladies and just kind of prepare for the race.
Question for Femke. How did it feel to compete at the World Championships on U.S. soil? Obviously, we're very biased in this crowd, so I'd love to hear from your point of view running such an excellent race. What was it like?
I think it was amazing. You can see that the crowd truly understands the event and is really excited for the event. Of course, they're super excited for the U.S. competitors, which I understand, but I just took this atmosphere from the crowd to also run as fast as I possibly could, and I think it's just an amazing crowd, and they were also truly happy for me with my silver medal, so it's really nice.
Question to the three of you. As I know of it, I think 400 meter women's hurdle, the last event could be the first one in last 10 years, 20 years in the World Championship. How did you feel like all of the eyes are on you guys?
I would say. Hello. Okay. Yeah, we definitely had more eyes on us this year than ever in our event, for sure. But I think that's what makes it so amazing, is that we took an event that really wasn't super popular and we've made it a key event in the sport. So yes, there's a lot more eyes, but I think that's what our sport needs in order to keep growing, is events that are really competitive. And to be a part of that, I can speak for myself in saying that's really special. Even though it's a little bit more nerve-wracking, it's definitely really awesome to know that we took the 400 hurdles and made it something people want to watch.
Another question for Sydney. I'm sure you've come through these pressure situations so many times before, but to do it on US soil in an event where most of the fans almost expect you to win, I'm just wondering, how hard was that for you in the last 24 hours, and did you feel that was all before the race?
I think I've always had a really awesome relationship with Hayward Field. You know, every time I come here, I just feel like I run really great races. So being able to have world championships here on U.S. soil was really special already. I definitely think, you know, the past 48 hours just getting ready for the race is always a mental, you know, hurdle of just getting prepared. But just knowing that, you know, I'm in the same time zone that I train in, and, you know, all the advantages of having it on home soil, I think it really played to our advantage for sure. So I couldn't be happier with how things turned out.
Would you rather keep competing against Sydney, or would you be happy if she decided to choose one of the other events she was talking about?
I would like her on the event the most. I mean, she just pushes me to also go faster and try harder, and I think it's amazing to run in a race like today. And yeah, I just love competing against the best, and that's what I get to do today against both of them. So I hope they both stay on the event.
Sydney, it looks like you split 11.99 in the backstretch. Have you ever done that before? And is that what caused the pain in the last 100?
Do you know which hurdles those were in between? Just like the 100? Yeah, we've done a couple simulations like that in practice, so I knew what the pace would feel like. So I haven't done it in a race until today, so I think that's definitely what attributed to that pain coming home for sure.
Sydney, how much did you feel before this race that it was possible to cut your own world record? Just short margin, or did you feel inside you that it would be possible to cut it like this?
I think there's still more to go. You know, I think we're all figuring out that yes, there's 10 barriers, but we can run them a lot faster than people think. And you know, there's no such thing as a perfect race, but I still think that wasn't even a super clean race. So I knew that the time was possible. The numbers don't lie, and Bobby is really good with numbers. So I just had to trust him and trust my training and go out there and execute the best race I could.
Just another question for Dalila. What do you attribute your longevity to? I think we're almost coming up on 10 years. Maybe 2013 was your first senior team. What do you attribute that longevity to?
Wow, that's you know, I think just me honestly looking up to the greats. I think for so long I was looking up to Allison Felix, Sonia Richardson, and I literally wanted to, you know, sit with them and ask them, how did you possibly do this for so long? It was about my third season. I was like, wow, this is really hard to keep going. And I think I honestly asked Allison that one day, and she was just like, have a new goal every single year, strive for something else. And I've just been taking her advice and going with that. So I think too, the 400 hurdles has so much more to give, and I think we're finally kind of cutting into what the women in the 400 meter hurdles, or just what the 400 hurdles can do in general, and just me wanting to be a part of that, knowing that there's more to give, and yeah, just setting a new goal every single year.
Sydney, half the field was U.S. women today. How does it feel from your perspective to see the event evolve and you be pushing forward from the front?
I was very excited coming into this race, knowing that we had so many women from the U.S. I know we don't all train together, but it almost felt like teammates going out there, you know, because we're U.S. teammates together. So I was really excited just to be a part of that and have four of us in the race. You know, it's always a really hard team to make, just trying to get to something like Worlds. So we're definitely just seeing so many more women, especially from the U.S., just pushing the bounds of this event. So it's really cool.
In those discussions that you've had with Bobby about what events you might run in the future, has the idea of doing a double ever cropped up, and is that something that you think is feasible and you'd be interested in doing maybe?
It's a great question. Bobby's always coming up with new ideas, so it's hard to pin down one, but there's talks of doubles, there's talks of switching. So honestly, I have no clue. I haven't even talked to him after the race, so that's something we'll go back home after the season, discuss, see what we want to do, and if it makes sense, it makes sense. So.
All right, we'll take one last question and then we'll let you go talk to your coach.
Just last question for Femke. Just kind of following up on the U.S., but for you with the Netherlands, right? You had like Lieke Klauver, right? She was in the 400, and of course you're representing here. What does that mean for you, seeing your fellow teammates doing really well for the Netherlands?
I think it means a lot to me. I mean, last year we already showed that we were getting better. We had 4th place at mixed, and then our guys on 4x4 got silver, and we almost all trained together. So it's really nice to see people have their breakthrough, and now Lieke becoming 4th, and we became 2nd with mixed. I mean, it's really a team effort always, so I'm really proud of them, and they also pushed me to do this, so it's just amazing to see everyone doing so well.